What's up, guys? In today's lesson, we're going to be going over a new way to hit one of the most basic sweeps in jiu-jitsu, the tripod sweep. So here it is. So before we get into the new way of sweeping with the tripod sweep, let's go into the old way, all right? So this is the old version. Normally you would grab the ankle, you would grab the sleeve, and you would bring your foot, if you would come around here, you would bring your right foot right beneath our opponent's ankle, and then you would extend your foot on the hip as you pull the grip on your opponent's ankle, and you're also going to pull this grip as well, and also the sleeve grip all at the same time. You're pulling. The only pushing motion here is my foot on the hip, like so. And then you would stand up and start passing the guard, okay? Now this way is good, but against an intelligent opponent, they know exactly what you're going to do when you achieve these grips, and especially when you put your foot near their heel. The only real attack that you have when your foot is near the heel is this tripod sweep. And in my personal opinion, I don't believe that this foot near the heel is very good. Right when I go for this, he can start backstepping and I lose everything, okay? So let's go into this new upgraded version of the tripod sweep. So oftentimes in jiu-jitsu, if you'll come back around here. So oftentimes in jiu-jitsu, when you're going for the tripod sweep, you're told to always grab the ankle. But there's a few problems with this ankle grip, especially when your opponent is far away and you have this foot on the hip. Okay, the main problem is that when I have the foot on the ankle, it's very easy for my opponent to just kick away and break my grip entirely. It's really difficult to keep this grip against a strong, intelligent opponent like my friend Juno here. Okay, so rather than holding the ankle in this new updated tripod sweep, we're going to go to the pant grip. Now this pant grip, he cannot simply kick away anymore. Okay, he has to address his pant grip by either grabbing it, which is not easy to do as well. It's not an easy grip to break, especially if you know how to keep it. And let's go into how to keep this pant grip. You're going to grab it just like a spider guard grip, and you're going to turn your hand a little bit just to secure it even more so. And constantly with this pant grip, we're constantly pulling it towards us. And just like in the old version of the tripod sweep, we're going to have our foot on the hip once again, right on the ASIS, this hip bone here, okay? And now this leg here, rather than going down to the ankle, if you'll come around again, rather than going down to behind the ankle, we're going to go right behind the knee of our opponent, okay? And for one, this is going to allow us to enter into other transitions later on, but also it's a little bit stronger of a control. And it also disguises what we're going to do to our opponent, okay? So now that we have these two controls, we don't even need any sort of upper body control. Of course, a sleeve grip would be nice, or even a near side sleeve grip. But with this updated version of the tripod sweep, you don't need any upper body controls, okay? So what are we gonna do in this situation? Just like before, just like in the original tripod sweep, we're going to be pushing with our foot on the hip, and we're going to be pulling with our foot right behind our opponent's knee. And also this grip here is gonna be a constant pull as well. So if you come back around here, maybe just an angle like so, right behind me. So again, we're pulling, we're pushing, and we're pulling as well. And it's going to be a very quick, explosive motion. We're going to pull, and kick, like so. And my opponent is probably going to fall while keeping up on his base, because he doesn't want to give up to such a weak sweep, in his opinion, okay? So in order to finish from this situation, one really nice tip that I was given a long time ago is to keep his leg elevated with our hook here, or my right hook. Now, what is this doing exactly? If I keep this hook elevated, he can no longer post his foot on the mat and start standing up. If I do not have this hook, Juno can easily put his foot on the mat, put your foot on the mat, and start standing up, exactly. But if I keep this hook elevated, he cannot put this foot on the mat, okay? And one thing that a lot of beginners forget from this situation is they forget that they have to hold on to this pant grip the whole time. Again, if I were to let go of this pant grip and not keep his leg extended like in this position, if I let go, he could easily stand up and I would lose everything. So especially maintain this pant grip. Okay, so I'm maintaining this pant grip. I'm also maintaining this hook control. The only thing that's going to be moving from the situation is the foot on the hip. Okay, so I'm going to move the foot on the hip just like so, putting it into kind of a 90-degree angle here. And I'm going to grab the collar, and you don't necessarily need to grab the collar. It's just going to aid you in standing up. So I'm going to grab the collar, and then I'm going to go up onto my knee and finish the sweep. So again, without the collar grip, Let's say we're in this situation, you don't need the collar grip. I can easily just stand up, balancing on my knee. Okay, so if you stand up. So again, we're in this situation, and rather than going down to the back of the ankle, we're gonna go right behind our opponent's knee. We're gonna extend the hip as we pull and pull, knocking our opponent down, keeping this hook always elevated as we bring our knee to the mat and standing up. Again, if you find that difficult, grab the collar to aid your ability to stand up. Okay? Now, one thing you may be asking, or one thing that you may be having trouble with, is getting your foot on the hip. And that is honestly one of the most difficult things to do because, the foot on the hip is extremely difficult for the opponent on top to deal with. So of course, he's naturally going to not allow this sort of control. So exactly, how do we get this foot on the hip from a common position in jiu-jitsu? So let's say that we're in a very common position in jiu-jitsu, which would be the De La Riva guard. Okay, so we're in this De La Riva guard, and oftentimes my opponent is going to have a collar control and start really trying to stabilize the position. So we need to force our foot on the hip somehow. Now, if my opponent is really tight here, it's very difficult to get this foot on the hip. He's not going to allow it. So what do we need to do? We need to break this control. So how are we going to break this control? We're going to bring our foot, our left leg. We can extend a little bit as well if we're not so flexible. We can extend a little bit with our free hand here. And we're going to put our foot on the shoulder. Now we're going to extend his body away as we do a nice kick. And as we extend, our foot is going to drop into place right on the hip. And we're going to make that little angle change here. My right foot is going to come once again right behind my opponent's knee, always pulling towards me, and extending away. Now I'm going to, once again, as always, keep this hook as I stand up on my knee, finishing the technique. Okay, one more time with no talking. So again, my opponent has a collar control. Finishing the sweep. Now this is one of my favorite sweeps that I love to do on beginners all the way up to the black belt level. And it also is a great way for you to start entering into different single X positions, which you guys can check out on my single X course. Oops. What's up guys? I hope you all enjoyed that previous lesson, and I want you all to know that I'm offering private lessons online. So in these private lessons, you have basically two options. One can just be a single kind of match analysis or game overview, and the other can be lessons in which I will go in depth into your games and help you progress much faster, and I will be your personal online jiu-jitsu coach. So please let me know if you guys are interested. Send me a message either on Instagram at DC_DeAngelis, or you can find me on Facebook. You can find me all across the social medias, or send me a message in the comment section. I'm also on Reddit. Please let me know if you're interested in any sort of type of online private, especially if you guys want to improve very quickly. This online coaching method has been really, really useful to many of my students, and I think it'll be useful for you as well. So let me know, and I'll see you guys soon. Os.